So you know the drill, guys.
I'm telling you guys, nothing is possible. Don't ever get up. Keep jerking, keep going. You
This
can.
is this is his first time. This is. Can we use your name,
What name?
like your real name, or we have a code? We need to have a code word for you.
Mm, Saint Gunachari.
Saint Gunacharya. So all right, guys, this is Saint Gunacharya's first time trying to do the intro. So yeah, forgive him for forgive him for failing this miserably. So yeah, guys, keep jerking, keep fapping, shoot your come down the drain, shoot
You
down your
cannot
drain.
do anything you want. I promise you. You just have to take
Yeah,
that first
yeah,
step. Save that
Gunacharya,
arse
Gunacharya.
roping someday.
No, don't say that shit. Gunacharya has been a long-term viewer of our channel. He also
And
made,
comment.
yeah, a commenter. He has made his way into a Tales video, into multiple Tales videos, in fact. He is the guy who actually advised Austin Wayne to do those walks. So he is not someone that people don't really know in this community. You probably know him.
They just don't know my identity.
Yeah.
Yes, so let's go on with the talk. And what is our topic
No,
for today?
it's not pop talk. So you know what? Yesterday, I made like the complete retard that I am. I made an Instagram post, and one of my GC mates, she is like proper feminist of sorts. She was making these comments. I made that post about historically how societies have taken shape because women would choose certain men, and her argument was women never got to choose really. Now there's an inherent issue with this kind of an argument. People give too much credit to what humans have done recently, that the feminist move, like, my genuine question is, why has the feminist movement only formed in the past 100 years? In fact, with the advent of modern weaponry, it's becoming more and more difficult to revolt. It's becoming more and more difficult to speak up for your beliefs. So if women were looking for jobs, if women were really oppressed, they would have spoken against it far earlier. And bonobos, humans are not the only species where the male is stronger, but in bonobos the females have that inherent capacity to form organizations. So they band up together, they control the whereabouts of the society, right? The issue is, when you try to debate with these kinds of people, with feminist types, they often talk about how it's all about internalized misogyny, how men oppressed women, but they never really try to accept that maybe humans were, just like bonobos. Once one sex was simply better at forming shallow relationship-based large scale networks, and the other was better at forming one-on-one intense relationships.
Let me say something. Men have not betrayed women. The biology has betrayed women themselves. So if they want to blame something, then maybe they should just blame their genetic bringing.
Yeah, just don't say something edgy, dude. We are trying to, like, this was funny, but yeah, we are trying to have a really good conversation.
No, no. I'm not trying to be funny. It's just that I spoke something like that.
Yeah, all right. Just bear with him, guys. I mean, he is funny. He has some good takes, but he would behave out of pocket at times. Like, he is not as in pocket as me.
My genetics got mocked by ADHD. That is why.
All right. Yeah, let's just move on. There's this theory by Professor Roy Baumeister. It's known as the sexual economics theory, right? So he in 2001 he and his colleagues, they ran research after research, and they discovered that in most societies, men are not the ones who are restricting female sexuality. Women are the ones who are playing the prime role in restricting each other's sexuality. So, evolutionary theory and feminist constructivist theory, they both place the blame on men, that men were the ones who wanted to restrict female sexuality, because the evolutionary theory believes that men wanted loyalty. Yeah, that is still true, kind of. And the feminist theories just suggests that men were just evil people who wanted to suppress women. The main issue that these people never talk about is maybe back in the day there was another variable. Women were not very good at hunting. Women were not very good at labor jobs. So women had to rely on men that they were maybe not attracted to. And what these men then put forth was a sort of proposal, you know, that you have to be.
They were Sims.
No. If I am to provide for you, you have to be loyal to me. That was the proposal
Oh,
that was the proposal that was put forth towards women. Now, women are excellent at making compromises. Women picked up on this. Women realized that this is the because even back in the day, Chad was not going to spend all his resources on random Beckies. He was going to spend resources on the woman he was really attracted to. The best hunters had two wives. So
yes, multiple.
only the best hunters had multiple wives. So women quickly picked up on this and they acted on it. They suppressed each other's sexuality so they could have that market advantage of sorts. Because the research that you look into today, like when women are paired with men that they don't find attractive, they are more likely to cheat. When they have a past partner that is more attractive, they become unstable towards a man that is less attractive later on. So women had to ensure that they were not free sexually. So later on, they would not have difficulty pair bonding with a man who was going to provide for them. So women were taking an active role in suppressing other women's sexualities, because that would, in a way, ensure their survival. People don't rebel against their best option, to be honest. Rebellion would have taken place much earlier if women had better options. If men were the ones who were oppressing and pulling women down. They didn't really rebel against men, because for a lot of human history this was useful for women.
And the women are still crying that they do not get freedoms, and it's just more problematic in this era. But what they don't realize is that they have been getting freedom now more than ever, because men allowed them to give their propaganda, their view of feminism, and now they can just revolve for their things.
No, I mean, let's be real, man. I don't think that men give them that right. I also don't believe that men at some point of time took away their rights. I believe the sexual autonomy is very underrated. Like, women have more or less been autonomous for most of human history, but but the social developments, but the inventions did not come from their sphere. This is something that Roy Baumeister noted.
I'm sorry. From their perspectives, they think that their rights were taken and now they're getting freedom, but they still think that they haven't gotten complete freedom.
Yeah. So there's any facet of female behavior that would essentially point to the fact that women might have benefited from the patriarchy, that women were as responsible for the quote unquote patriarchy, which we shouldn't really be using that word. The more practical word would have been sexual economic compromise. That's exactly what it was.
Freedom for choice, because they had to be dependent.
it was nothing really compared, like patriarchy is defined in the wrong sort of way. It was not some conspiracy to oppress women. Rather, it was a major compromise on the side of women because they had to rely on men that they were not attracted to for resources. Now, even these days, you actually would still see a remnant of this because the women who form the lowest IQ quartile, right? Let's take the example of those women who form the lowest quartile of IQ. Do you think they're going to secure good paying jobs? They're probably not going to secure those good paying jobs.
Never.
They would have to settle for men who are, and also women are not physically as capable for labor jobs. So these women would always have to settle for your oofy doofies and beta buxes, right? that
Yes.
that would go on to create another generation of oofy doofies and beta boxes and women who have to settle. Like, it's brutal. This is why what Sweden did worked.
And also, you're talking about settling, that women are settling in marriages. So there was a survey by Glidden that told that approximately 77% of Indian women who
I don't
admitted to infidelity.
I don't believe the number is 77%, to be honest, because let me tell you something.
Yes.
Gleeden, Gleeden is an app that is used for those kind of action, that kind of actions. Maybe 77% of women on that particular app or who are connected to that app said that. But yeah, the number is still pretty high. I would suggest that the number is
Yes, yes.
pretty close to like a
Or
third to a quarter, to like a quarter. It would still be pretty large.
I would say
like
maybe
like let's be
40%.
real, guys. Maybe a huge percentage of women do have cheating tendencies, but carrying that out in
They have to be
reality
dependent.
that's not feasible. Yeah, but that would manifest in other ways, such as unhappy marriages, women feeling unhappy. They asked 2000 women, this was a Vox survey. The results that they got, 77% of women said that they were unhappy in marriages.
Mhm.
So you have a ton more unhappy women and unstable marriages, even though you don't have a majority of women cheating.
What did you say?
I'm saying that even though a majority of women aren't cheating, a majority of marriages are still unhappy, and the women are like genuinely cannot tolerate the oofy doofy.
Yes, yes.
Because most women after a certain age, they realize they have no realistic chance with. And this is the funny thing, dude. Like, women would be crying in a car or on the video about not getting male attention, and the guys like Professor would think
They talk about
it's because normies are not giving them attention. The real reason the females are crying in those videos is because they've realized
Chad doesn't give them attention.
chat is not a realistic option. And he thinks it's because of,
I
no,
watched a
she's
video
not
from
crying for
Professor.
normie.
I watched a video from Professor. He was saying that women are hitting their SMV ball and normies are just going M-town and they are regretting and men are winning.
Alright, that laugh was even creepier than my creepiest laugh, but yeah, that was funny. Yeah, like, and so many of these feminists that I talk to, they have this belief that men are being lonely these days because of the red pill. Not that the red pill is a sort of snake oil that these people are selling to lonely guys.
And what can we expect when they talk about things like therapy can fix you?
Yeah, like I'll be getting to that. Why therapy actually sucks. Uh, the thing is, a lot of guys, you have read up Ellen Burchard's research, like, right? When we tell young guys that there's something wrong with their personality because they're being rejected and not getting on dates, oftentimes it's just a very vague, explanation. It's often not even true. It's 99% of the times it's not even true. They just got rejected because the woman in question did not find them, the girl in question did not find them attractive. But that small vague sort of advice kind of sows the seeds. You give the boy an idea that there's something wrong with him, and then he goes on to, but you never clarify what's wrong with him, because you don't have the guts to tell him, yeah, maybe she doesn't like the way you look. So he goes on to search for so he goes on to search for answers, and this is where guys like Tate step in. The reason that
Because they have low IQ.
the reason that Tate's schemes and his propaganda is so effective, because society has already told these guys that there's something wrong with their personality that's causing these issues. And Tate comes in and says the aspect of your
You
personality,
have to work hard. You have to work hard.
the aspect of your personality that's hurting you is you not being chigma enough, you not being alpha enough, you not working hard enough. Like, the advice we get is often so vague.
I completely agree on that one. Even I fell for the Tate trap once, when I was 14.
Yeah, so this will be end of
And
part one.
then-
We'll get back in a while. Bhai, call आ गया मेरा. What the fuck? Oh, right. All right.
मैं तो
We'll see you guys in part